Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about borderline personality disorder and what a favorite person is. So to recap, borderline personality disorder, also known as BPD, is essentially a mental health disorder that impacts our emotions, our thoughts, and our behaviors. People with BPD struggle with emotional dysregulation, meaning we are unable to cope in stressful situations with our emotions because of how intense we are feeling them. So usually the ways that we cope in distress are more harmful than helpful, but in the moment, that's the only way we know how to protect ourselves and keep ourselves safe. The term favorite person is used in the BPD community a lot, and a favorite person is typically someone that we rely on for a sense of approval, validation, a sense of security, a sense of safety, and for us, it's almost like a form of comfort. 71% of people who have BPD have been through trauma, and many people with BPD were brought up in environments that were extremely invalidating to their emotions, feelings, or thoughts that they're having as a child. So this can lead to a heightened need for emotional connection. Now, a favorite person isn't someone that you go out and you're like, hey, you're my favorite person. It is subconsciously done as a defense mechanism. It's almost like a favorite person is a form of a safety net for emotional regulation. However, this intense attachment to somebody can create an unstable relationship with this person. Many of us struggle with fear of abandonment or fear of losing people or the relationship. So if anything within this relationship triggers back to a wound from your childhood, you can go from idealizing this person to devaluing this person. So we only see them as all good or all bad. It's either I love you or I hate you. I'm so glad I met you. I wish I never met you. Sometimes there are triggers that can cause this. The first one being perceived abandonment. We are very hypervigilant to any sense of abandonment, even if it's not actually happening. If we feel like someone's being distant, or we feel a sense of rejection, it may make us feel or sense that this person's going to leave me. Any perceived criticism, even if it's not meant to be criticism, or if you're feeling judged by your favorite person, this can lead to feelings of shame and guilt or self-doubt. People with BPD can have one thing happen in their lives that seems really minor to you, but it becomes a full-blown crisis for them. When we are experiencing those intense emotions or shifts in our moods, that can change our perception on our favorite person in that moment. Now, all of these things can dysregulate our nervous system. When our nervous system is dysregulated, we are no longer thinking or responding out of our rational side of the brain. Our brain is now in survival. This part of the brain is called the amygdala, and it's responsible for your fear responses. When it is activated, there's no talking to the other side of your brain, which is called the prefrontal cortex. And often when you're in this part of the brain, you are acting on emotion. You may be in a rage episode, it may be coming out passive-aggressively, or you could just be splitting on your loved one, which is in the devaluation stage, when you see them as all bad, and you can't recall any good. When your nervous system is activated, nothing someone says will get through to you or de-escalate you. You have to regulate your nervous system. If you're the person with BPD, it is really important to become self-aware of, hey, what are my triggers? Implement safe words with your favorite person so they can become aware of when you're becoming triggered. These safe words can help with putting a pause or a stop to the conversation until you're emotionally regulated again. Now, within the favorite person, I've talked a little bit about fear of abandonment, a little bit about splitting, but with a favorite person, we can also be clingy or have a sense of neediness. We become extremely dependent on this person, and we're constantly seeking for reassurance or validation or attention. And this can be tough because we hate being alone. So when our favorite person isn't around us, we can hyperfixate on the absolute worst. If our favorite person isn't available to talk to, perhaps they're busy, sometimes that can cause a lot of distress within ourselves. We can struggle with intense emotions regarding our favorite person, and our responses and our emotions may seem unpredictable to our favorite person. And a lot of these reactions can be triggered by fear of abandonment or the other triggers I specified earlier. Not every single person with BPD will have a favorite person, and having a favorite person is not a choice or a sign of weakness. It is a coping mechanism we have adapted to, but now it's more harmful than helpful. And a favorite person isn't always a romantic partner. It can also be a friend, a family member, or even a therapist. A relationship between someone with BPD and a favorite person isn't always toxic. It may be intense or unstable at times, but you are very capable of having a healthy relationship with that person with proper communication and tools to do so. It's important to remember your favorite person is not responsible for your emotions. And from a favorite person's perspective too, it can be really hard to constantly be that staple for you, especially if that favorite person has been through trauma themselves or they have their own stuff going on. It's important that we implement boundaries, safe words, we recognize our triggers, and we have open communication. Ways that you can heal the favorite person attachment is through self-validation. We seek out to our favorite person because we feel the need to be validated, heard, seen, but you can self-validate yourself even if it feels wrong to do so. If you are a favorite person and you struggle with this, a great tool is to look into gentle parenting. This is learning how to become more responsive than reactive to the person with BPD's emotions and behaviors. It's important to note, all emotions are valid, and it's important to validate your person with BPD's emotions at all times. You don't have to agree with them, you don't have to understand them, but you can validate them. However, you do not validate the behaviors that can arise with the emotion. Those are two separate things. Within the gentle parenting model, we are essentially responding to these emotions with empathy, understanding, respect, and boundaries. Let me know what you think. Comment down below what you'd like to see in the next video. And don't forget to hit subscribe.